at the entrance of the courthouse. My fiancé Ethan hesitated to go inside. Calls of impatience echoed around us. Today was the day Ethan and I were supposed to sign the marriage papers, and also the day of our wedding ceremony. Before the official ceremony began, the wedding party was gathering to witness the official signing. I took his hand, teasing him deliberately. "Are you afraid of commitment? Or do you just not want to marry me?" Ethan looked solemn. "It's not that I don't want to. I'm already married." I smiled faintly. "I love you, and I accept your past, Ethan. We're all so jealous." Sophia's understanding is truly impressive. "She and I aren't divorced yet, and I don't want to be," Ethan said earnestly, tightening his grip on my hand. "But I can still have a wedding ceremony with you." The surroundings suddenly fell silent. I stared at him, momentarily stunned. "So, I'm the homewrecker? Let's talk in private." Ethan opened the car door, gesturing for me to get in. The wedding party retreated further away. "I'll tell you everything. I'm sure you'll understand." Inside the car, I remained calm, neither crying nor making a scene. I could love passionately, but I could also exit gracefully. Betrayal was insignificant compared to the hardships I had faced over the years. I wanted to marry, but it didn't have to be him. I gazed at the man who had once risked his life for me, memories flashing through my mind like a slideshow. 5 years ago, when I was inspecting a sudden fire broke out. Ethan, a production line manager, risked his life to save me. He suffered severe burns. While I only experienced a fright, he still bore the scars on his face. Back then, as he lay in his hospital bed, he wept constantly, complaining to his mother that he was still young and unmarried, and now no girl would ever like him. I happened to overhear everything. His bravery during the fire moved me, even though we were from different social circles, and despite my parents offering him generous compensation for a comfortable life, I insisted on having a passionate romance with him. For 5 years, I never thought less of him because of the scars on his face. In fact, I found him even more handsome. They were proof of his love for me, a hero's badge of honor. Yet today, he told me he was married. Before this, he hadn't shown any signs of trouble, nor had anything seemed out of the ordinary on the way to the courthouse. Now, he met my gaze with unsettling calm, not at all like someone who had made a mistake. It was as if he had planned everything meticulously, just waiting for today to deliver a devastating blow. It seemed there was something hidden behind this 5-year relationship that I hadn't known. I looked at him calmly. "Get out. Get lost." As for what he wanted to say, I no longer cared to listen, nor was there any need. A rotten person had no right to receive even an ounce of love from me. I had given him more than enough over the years to repay his kindness back then. Ethan was visibly taken aback. For the past 5 years, I had been devoted to him, taking him everywhere I went, and he was always by my side even on business trips. He probably expected me to cry, make a scene, or demand answers loudly. Yet I did nothing of the sort, calmly telling him to get lost. His carefully prepared excuses were meaningless in this moment. The man he was today was a stranger to me, and the woman I was today was equally a stranger to him. His face froze, and he opened his mouth but forgot what to say. I lowered the car window and said flatly, "Are you getting out on your own? Or do you want me to have someone drag you out?" Ethan finally snapped back to reality. "Aren't you curious who I married? Come here, drag this man out." I waved to the security guards. They looked momentarily startled, but decisively carried out my order. "I'll get out myself." Seeing the security guards approach, Ethan said coldly. After getting out, he stared at me. "Chloe and I just signed the marriage papers yesterday." Perhaps my reaction provoked him, for his eyes held a defiant glint, an attempt to infuriate me. Chloe? The college student he had recommended to the company, claiming she was just a classmate. It seemed there was more to it than that. But from now on, Chloe would have no ties to the company. I pushed the door open and stepped out. Ethan recoiled 2 steps at the sight. I didn't even spare him a glance. I looked towards the back of the wedding convoy. I knew the exact number of cars in my wedding convoy, but now there was an extra one, same model, decorated with festive banners and ribbons, but it wasn't one of mine. I quickly walked towards this car and tapped on the driver's window. The window slowly rolled down, revealing a familiar face. By conventional standards, his looks were like a cloud, while Ethan's were like mud, a stark contrast. I just stared at the nervous, sweaty face inside the car. "Today's wedding is missing a groom. Are you in?" "I am," he replied loudly, immediately getting out of the car. Under everyone's puzzled gazes, I led the man from that car into the lead car. Ethan witnessed the scene. He grabbed the car door. Sophia, I'm the groom. From now on, you're not. Let me in the car. Ethan's face was purple with rage, his eyes seeming to blaze. This isn't over. I believe once I've finished, you'll make the right choice. Who are you to tell me what to do? I retracted my gaze and patted the seat in front. The driver floored the accelerator, and the wedding convoy behind us quickly followed. As for Ethan and his friends, they were all left behind. Ethan, you really messed up, didn't you? I told you yesterday not to sign the marriage papers with Chloe yet. Sophia is from a prominent family. How could she ever agree to something like this? Don't let Sophia's usual obedience fool you. She'd never compromise on something like this. It's over for you now. You can kiss wealth and prestige goodbye. I saved her life. She won't escape my grasp, Ethan said, his face cold, as he rushed towards the remaining car, flooring the accelerator and speeding forward. His face was contorted in a sneer, and the fury in his eyes seemed ready to devour everything. The car maintained a steady speed. Ethan quickly caught up, positioning his car across the lead car to block the wedding convoy. The man beside me's gaze hardened. He looked at me. I'll handle this. Stay seated. After I spoke, I got out of the car. All the security guards immediately followed. Ethan, who had intended to step forward, stood there with a grim face. His voice was low, with a disturbingly saccharine tone. Sophia, Chloe wanted reassurance. You're an heiress from a prominent family, and she worked her way through college. I thought this marriage certificate would give her peace of mind, so I gave it to her, but is very understanding. She agreed to let us have our wedding ceremony. After we're married, I'll spend 4 days a week with her and 3 days with you. I won't neglect you. All the guests are here. If you pull a last-minute groom switch, it would be a complete embarrassment. I trust you'll make the right choice. Ethan spoke very naturally, as if he was quite pleased with this arrangement. Ethan, did my consistent gentleness lead you to mistake me for a docile kitten, easily manipulated? I stared at him, my voice sharp as a blade. I took over the manufacturing in my freshman year of college, entered the group's management as general manager in my sophomore year, was promoted to sales director in my junior year, and by my senior year, I was known as Evergreen City's youngest female CEO. Now, 51% of the group's shares are in my hands. You know my family. I have older brothers and sisters, and younger brothers and sisters. These positions were competitive. Do you think they pitted me and just handed all this to me? I've taken you to board meetings. Did anyone dare to say no to my decisions? You want me to be a homewrecker? And you'll spend 3 days a week with me? Who do you think you are? I can elevate you to the heavens if I love you, and I can crush you into the abyss if I don't. If someone is destined to be trampled in this relationship, that person will absolutely not be me. Move. Ethan knew all my secrets. He knew my weaknesses, my pain points. He didn't move, staring at me with a cold voice. Your father is gravely ill and has been looking forward to this wedding for 5 years. I've gone from being insignificant to crucial in the old man's heart. If I'm not the groom, aren't you afraid he'll die on the spot? Yes. Chloe and I are married, but as long as you and I don't say anything, no one will know. Or do you have the guts to tell your father? A last-minute groom switch on your wedding day, how will you explain that to your guests? The family is Evergreen City's wealthiest family, and countless media outlets are scrutinizing this wedding. How will you explain it to them? The louder he spoke, the more emboldened he became. Sophia, just think. If I'm not the groom today, how will you account for it to the guests? How will you explain it to your parents? How will you explain it to the media? Ethan, is your marriage to Chloe something I should be ashamed of? Did I make a mistake? You keep demanding how I'll explain myself. Are you out of your mind? Moreover, why should my personal marriage be explained to anyone else? Ethan's face was gloomy. Chloe was right. There's no genuine affection in wealthy families, and you're truly ungrateful. You act docile, but given time, you'll become a man-eating tigress. I laughed. So there really were ungrateful wretches in this world. I bought them a home, and 3 years ago, I used all my connections to bring a renowned specialist to pull his mother back from the brink of death. I arranged for his sister to study abroad. Ethan hadn't even finished high school, yet I gave him a 6-figure salary. I provided him with luxury cars and lavish homes. And for him, it still wasn't enough. Arguing with someone like him was a waste of my time. I glanced at the security guards and silently got back into the car. The guards immediately stepped forward. And Ethan yelled, "Look, everyone! This is the heiress from a prominent family I saved back then. On her wedding day. She's backing out. She's been having an affair with Liam, son of the former wealthiest family, for ages, but was afraid to reveal their relationship because of her carefully crafted public image. I'm telling you, the Song family became the wealthiest family because she was prostituting herself. Liam tried to get out, but I held him back. Don't bother with this trash. Let the security guards handle it." Ethan was pinned to the ground, unable to move. He could only watch as I drove away in the bridal car. Not long after the car started moving, Ethan sent me a message, one that made me frown. Liam took my phone. After seeing what Ethan had sent, his face also turned grim. He clenched his fist. "That beast. After I saved you that year, your naive romantic heart fluttered, and you convinced yourself it was a hero saves damsel romance, unreservedly throwing yourself into a passionate romance. But once we truly got together, you found my background, education, and worldly experience were lacking, and you gradually grew dissatisfied with me. However, because you had invited major media for exclusive interviews to brand me as a hero and crafted a pure love image of yourself, one who would stop at nothing for love, it wasn't easy to simply kick me out, fearing negative impacts on the company. So, you forced Chloe and me to sign the marriage papers, making the public believe I cheated. This way, you could legitimately get rid of me, but you shouldn't have publicly humiliated me today. Sophia, you need a conscience. I'll leak this to the media later. Don't try to use dirty tricks against me. Chloe, also a victim, is already abroad. If anything happens to me, what unfolds next is something you absolutely wouldn't want to see. Once information like this reached the media, some outlets wouldn't care about the actual truth, as long as the story was sensational enough. At that point, the Song family's business would undoubtedly be severely impacted. The family was in too prominent a position, surrounded by opportunists, and news like this would certainly be amplified by others. Ethan's devastating gambit was truly ruthless. He was clearly prepared. I grimly took my phone and reread the message repeatedly. Liam looked at me, silent and unmoving, his expression complex. "Stop the car, I'll get out, and let Ethan in. Keep driving," I said calmly. "I fought my way out of your family's business siege back then and claimed the top spot as the wealthiest family. Ethan wants to play games with me? He's too amateurish." Liam's expression changed again. Back then, Liam's family and mine had planned an arranged marriage, but I opposed arranged marriages. Because I got together with Ethan, the Lin family launched a business siege against mine. I won that battle. I won the business battle and also Liam's heart. He said he would always wait for me, always be there if I turned back. Ethan was driving a car, following behind. This time, he didn't block the wedding convoy. He just trailed us. His gaze was sinister. "Sophia, I refuse to believe you'd dare to bring Liam into the wedding ceremony after reading that message. If you do, I'll ruin your reputation." The car convoy drew closer to the reception hall. The driver deliberately slowed down. He hadn't seen the message, but he sensed the tense atmosphere. Liam had suggested getting out of the car twice more along the way. The last time, I gave him a glare, and he said no more. I knew he meant well for my family's business, but make me bow down? Impossible. The hotel came into view, and Ethan sent another message. "Don't try to make those security guards testify for you. They're your people. They'll say whatever you want them to say. The media will understand this fact. So don't even think about framing me. Pull over. Let's talk." The car continued moving without stopping. Ethan's message quickly came through again. "You said you'd give me 2 gifts on our wedding day, the manufacturing where we met, and the newly opened beauty company. Does that still stand?" That plant was considered a small one among my family's properties, but it easily brought in over $100 million in annual revenue. The newly opened beauty company was an idea I had after Ethan's burns. It was still in its development phase, generating around $500 million in annual revenue. The combined revenue from the manufacturing and the beauty company was a mere drop in the ocean compared to the profits of the group I controlled. I had never promised Ethan such gifts. He was setting conditions now. If I gave him these, he would stop causing trouble. He's not greedy, at least. I showed the message to Liam. Liam frowned. "Are you going to give it to him? Am I the kind of person who bows down?" I put my phone away, ignoring him. If had truly been devoted to me, let alone these profitable ventures, he would have shared the vast Song family assets with me in the future. I hadn't even drafted a prenuptial agreement. Ethan watched my car enter the Grand, frantically honking his horn, as if playing a wedding march for me. His car tried to enter the Grand but was stopped by security. After I got out, I glanced back. Ethan was standing at the hotel entrance, staring expectantly at me, gesturing for me to check my phone. The plant is where we met, where our love began. I don't need any beauty salons, but the manufacturing holds special meaning for me. Just this gift will be enough. I gave him a dismissive glance and turned to walk into the Grand, still trying to blackmail me for this and that. Ethan, my kindness to you in the past made you think I was easily swayed. Not only will you not get these things, but everything I gave you will have to be returned. At the reception hall, when the ceremony officially began, and Liam stood on stage as the groom, the guests were all dumbfounded. What's going on? How did Liam get up there? Well, what else? True love always finds a way. It seems Ms. Sophia isn't always so willful. Of course, even if the Lin family was pushed out of the wealthiest spot, their fortune is still the second wealthiest in Evergreen City. Ms. Sophia certainly understands the importance of a powerful alliance. Before everyone could recover from the shock of Liam becoming the groom, I walked down the red carpet, arm in arm with my father. It was a traditional Chinese wedding, with me adorned in a phoenix crown and embroidered robes. Everyone was drawn to me, but William clearly stole a bit of the show. Isn't Mr. William gravely ill and wheelchair-bound? I heard the same thing. They say Mr. William doesn't have much time left, and many believed he was holding on by a thread just to see Ms. Sophia marry. But now he's looking hale and hearty. He doesn't seem sick at all. I only found out yesterday that my father was feigning illness. He was afraid he would struggle to be impartial and didn't know who to entrust the family business to, so he started feigning illness years ago, letting us siblings compete for leadership. That's why I had to take time away from college to participate in this competition for succession. William gave me a surprise yesterday, and today I gave him one back, a last-minute groom switch. William didn't ask anything, just 2 words, trust. When I said I do on stage, there was rapturous applause throughout the hall. No one cared about Ethan. He thought his presence would affect me, but could he bring any benefit to the guests present? No. I was the one who could bring them benefits. But just after I said I do and the applause faded, many faces in the audience changed. My father quickly walked onto the stage. His expression was normal, but I could see the anger hidden in his eyes. Ethan is on the building across the street, threatening to jump, and has hung a banner. Chloe is there too, William continued, his face grim. Many journalists who couldn't get into the reception hall have gone over there, and many are live streaming. Sophia, betrayer, abuser, abandoning family and utterly ruthless. The banner was striking. The array of cameras and microphones were all aimed at Ethan, who stood on the rooftop. It doesn't matter if I die or not, but before I go, I will make sure everyone sees Sophia for who she truly is. Ethan yelled from the rooftop. She despised my burned face. After using me to create a pure love image for herself, she began to distance herself, to completely get rid of me. She forced Chloe and me to be together. She found people to threaten Chloe. If didn't comply, her family would be harmed, and so would mine. Sophia forced me and Chloe into an intimate situation and recorded it for blackmail. She wanted to fabricate evidence of my infidelity to further perfect her flawless public image. Chloe and I are both from humble beginnings. We tried to avoid trouble, but Sophia wants to annihilate us. Ethan raised his voice. Just today, Chloe's family home caught fire. If hadn't reacted quickly, she would have been burned alive. The journalists gathered around were ecstatic. This was huge news, guaranteed to generate a wave of views and engagement. In the live stream chat, people were already in a frenzy of outrage. At the reception hall, the gazes directed at me varied. Some were gleeful, others genuinely concerned. 1,000-mile dike can crumble from an ant's nest. Even if I'm just a tiny ant, I'll bring down your empire. Ethan's message came again, followed by an arrogant emoji. I walked out of the Grand. The journalists outside, like wolves smelling blood, swarmed me. If the security guards hadn't held them back, they would have been shoving microphones in my face. Questions were thrown at me, one after another. Ms. Sophia, is what Mr. Ethan said true? Ms. Sophia, do you have anything to say about this matter? I took the microphone from one journalist and looked towards Ethan. Ethan, Liam said he wanted to give me a special wedding gift today. His condition was that he be the groom for a few minutes, standing on stage. Otherwise he wouldn't give me this special surprise. He said this special surprise concerns both our fates. You know Liam's standing and his influence. I was afraid he would harm you, which is why I asked you to get out of the car. But now he's about to give me the surprise. And after you see it, you'll still be today's groom. Everyone was stunned by my statement. Ethan smirked, certain I'd cave. Without waiting for Liam to present the surprise, he stood on the rooftop and shouted, "I was just speaking some nonsense earlier. I was afraid my wife wouldn't come out. She didn't tell me about the surprise beforehand, so I fabricated some excuses to force her to appear." He shouted at Liam, "Liam, where's your surprise? Where's the surprise?" Everyone looked at Liam. Liam looked at me with a slightly wronged expression. He hadn't said he was giving me a surprise, but he had indeed prepared one. He knew I had seen through him yet again, that I knew what he had prepared. Liam took the microphone. "I documented the beginning of a mess. Sophia and Mr. Ethan's relationship, their journey of getting to know each other and falling in love. Today, I want everyone to see how Ms. Sophia and Mr. Ethan first met. Please direct your attention to the large screen. On the large screen mounted on the Grand's exterior, the video Liam had prepared was displayed. The video showed the manufacturing I had inspected 5 years ago, before the fire. Some journalists who knew the backstory began to explain. Everyone, this is the manufacturing where Ms. Sophia and Mr. Ethan first met. It was a fire at that very plant that brought them together. It seems Ms. Sophia has arranged a special segment today, for everyone to witness the genesis of their love story. On the building across the street, Ethan watched the large screen content, a bad premonition rising in his heart. Sweat beaded on his face. He wanted to leave, but Chloe held him back. "I want to see how you were back then, to see your bravery. You know I was willing to be with you not because you became rich by being with Sophia, but because of your bravery back then." Ethan had no choice but to stay put. Soon, I appeared on screen, with the plant manager escorting me into the manufacturing. The scene then shifted, and Ethan appeared on screen, his furtive actions drawing suspicion from everyone present. "What is he doing? What's that in his hand? It looks like alcohol." Oh my God, he set the fire. He's not a fire hero. He's an arsonist. On the building across the street, Ethan had sweat pouring down his face. Chloe released his hand and glared at him. "Liar. You utter fraud. Impossible. Absolutely impossible." Ethan muttered to himself. "I destroyed all the surveillance footage back then, burned the entire control room to the ground. It can't be. Mr. Ethan, aren't you curious why these videos can see the light of day again?" Liam called out to Ethan, holding the microphone. "For years, I did nothing but assemble a team to research surveillance footage restoration technology. Perseverance pays off. And just 3 days ago, I obtained the crucial evidence. Mr. Ethan, do you like this surprise?" Ethan turned and fled. There had been victims in that fire. More than one. Many children of the manufacturing victims were present. They silently pursued Ethan. By the time the police arrived, Ethan was already lying in a pool of blood. Had they been a moment later, he would likely have been lynched on the spot. Thanks to the surprise Liam prepared, the wedding became even more lively. He also subtly advertised his work, and during the toast, many people approached him, eager to collaborate and utilize Liam's newly mastered technology. After all the guests had left, after we returned to our cozy home, after the romantic evening unfolded, after our intimate moments, Liam stared at me blankly. "You never let Ethan touch you?" Liam's shriek echoed through the room. He actually doubted my integrity? How could I get intimate before marriage? Was that intentional? I glared at him. He chuckled. "You see right through me. I had a surprise planned for today, but you brought it up directly, which annoyed me. So, even though I knew about my integrity, I deliberately tried to tease you. Childish." I playfully pinched him. "But you're my husband now, and sometimes I'll feign ignorance to give you a sense of accomplishment. Like how I just pretended to be impressed." "Sophia, that's an insult to me. Just wait until I get you back for that." "Fine. You're amazing." "Ah. Sophia, I'm going to get you back for that." "Liam, the breakfast you made is truly wonderful. I love it." The next morning, as I ate the breakfast Liam had carefully prepared, I praised him sincerely, but he didn't look particularly happy, vigorously poking his breakfast with a fork. "Sophia, just you wait until after breakfast." Over the next few days, I postponed everything, and Liam did the same. We indulged in our newfound intimacy, A few days later, nestled in Liam's arms, I murmured, "So this is what a love between equals feels like. Now you know how great I am? You refused the arranged marriage back then. I didn't know you back then. Who knew what kind of person you were? A thing? You're despicable. You." I laughed heartily, without a care for appearances, unconcerned about anything. But during those 5 years with Ethan, I had been so cautious. We were from different social circles, and Ethan was sensitive and insecure. I constantly had to manage his emotions, never daring to joke around. Honestly, even without his ultimate betrayal, even if he hadn't set that fire, perhaps Ethan and I wouldn't have lasted long. He was afraid of me, and I had to cater to his moods all the time. It was exhausting. Neither of us lived comfortably. Thankfully, it wasn't too late. 3 months later, Ethan's arson case had its first hearing. Liam and I attended as jurors. Ethan, who had been looking hale and hearty when he was with me, was now gaunt and emaciated, barely recognizable. He glanced in my direction, his eyes not showing regret, but rather venomous hatred. I was glad I came. I wanted to see him sentenced to death. The evidence was irrefutable. There was no suspense in the trial. Ethan was sentenced to the death penalty without reprieve. Martha, Ethan's mother, knelt before me. "Sophia, that's a human life. Even if he set the fire back then, Ethan did save you. He's your savior. Please, help him. You spent 5 years together. Do you truly have no lingering affection? No wonder Ethan turned out this way." His mother's words infuriated me to the point of laughter. He saved my life? He nearly cost me my life. Thinking of the past 5 years, it was the greatest blight on my life, making me seem like a joke. I ignored the woman kneeling on the ground. Arguing with someone like her was beneath my dignity. I took Liam's hand and walked out briskly. Ethan refused to accept the verdict and appealed the verdict. During this time, he had his mother find Chloe, hoping Chloe would visit him. "Why didn't you keep the baby?" He stared at Chloe. He and Chloe had conceived a child. He didn't want to die. He still wanted to be a father. I terminated it. Chloe looked at Ethan with utter calmness. "How dare you? How dare you terminate the child without my consent? I'm the father, your husband. We have a marriage certificate. How dare I?" Chloe glared at him, her face cold. "The child of a scumbag like you shouldn't exist in this world. I only agreed to be with you because I admired you as a hero. You lied to me. You deserve to rot in hell." Ethan tried to speak again, but Chloe gave him no chance. Rising and leaving, Ethan was the only son in his family. If he hadn't been so greedy, marrying and having children wouldn't have been an issue. But he was too avaricious. Knowing I frequently visited manufacturing during that period, and that one day I would surely inspect his manufacturing, he conceived a devious plot. He wanted to stage a hero saves damsel scenario. After the final verdict of the death penalty, Ethan sent someone to relay a message. He wanted to see me. A man on his deathbed speaks with honesty. Liam advised me. I went to see Ethan. It was Chloe who insisted on signing the marriage papers. She said it was a test of your obedience. That if she wanted to control you, she had to do it. She's also at fault. She should pay the price for it. I couldn't help but look at him with a touch of pity. Pity for his foolishness. "Ethan, if a piece of cake was stolen from my house, I would certainly pursue the thief. But you're a person, not an inanimate object. You had the option to refuse Chloe. The ones who truly deserve punishment are those who betray in love. If it wasn't Chloe, it would have been another Chloe, another Sarah." Hoping I'd help him get revenge on Chloe? Your methods are still too amateurish. I didn't give him a chance to continue. Standing up and leaving, on the day of his death penalty, I heard Ethan claim to know he was wrong, that he wanted to change, hoping for another chance. Facing the death penalty, that wasn't realizing a mistake. That was simply being afraid. Months later, I heard news of Chloe. People always find enough justifications for their actions. Just like Chloe claiming she was with Ethan not because he became rich through me, but because of Ethan's heroic act of saving me that year. But in reality, she found another wealthy man. Realizing being a mistress was a quick way to get money, she became pregnant again, using it as leverage to extort more money. In the end, that wealthy man used some tactics to send her abroad. She didn't get any money, and later, her body was found in a trunk. People always face the consequences of their actions, for better or worse. It's the path they choose. I stood on the rooftop, looking down at the city's neon glow, with Liam by my side. Now, With every decision we made, Liam and I asked ourselves if it was right or wrong, determined never to regret a mistaken choice. We also adjusted our company's development direction. Life isn't just about the accumulation of wealth. There's so much more beauty to experience. To the past, to the future, and to your healthy concoction. Liam frowned. To myself. Ha ha ha. I laughed heartily. Liam picked me up from behind, carried me downstairs over his shoulder. Next, we would strive to welcome our future child. Thank you for watching this video. If you have any thoughts about this story, feel free to share them in the comments section. Here is Roses and Love, sharing stories about marriage and women every day. See you tomorrow.